Hello YouTube. Many of you remember back at Christmas time I made a video of this tender that was broken to the point where the Holiday Express, this is my new bright Holiday Express train, it would no longer run in either direction, and the lights, none of the lights worked, and the sound didn't work either. Well, this here's the old one, 1997 limited edition, as you can see. And I just received this in the mail yesterday. I tried to make an unboxing video, but I recorded it on my iPad and it didn't really upload to YouTube. So I'm just doing this sort of a testing and demo video, I guess. Now there were some differences that I thought I saw, but it turns out that the old tender has it too. The first thing is the gold rims on the wheels. I thought that this one has those too. You can't really see. But I thought that this one didn't have that, but it does. And I thought the gold right there, I didn't think that this one had it, but it turns out it does. You can sort of see it right there. So basically there aren't any differences between this one and the new one that I noticed, at least. Or this one is the older one, this one's the newer one. That one's from 1996. So still trying to find, maybe there's some differences, but I don't see any. So, basically, this tender, I have tested it, it works, and I actually, this is the rare limited edition one with incandescent lights. Let me just take off one of the gifts from there, and you can see incandescent lights. Put it back on, and I had to take this light bulb out, because I remember last year one in the caboose burned out, and I didn't have any spare bulbs, so I don't have these two cars connected right now. I do have the engine connected, so let's turn it on. And it works, and the lights flash, and the patterns, and the animation, and the sounds work and everything. Another thing that I was pleased to know is that this one's star also has that indicator for the sound when it's on. When the sound is on, the star will flash slowly. When the sound is off, the star will flash rapidly. So, the engine is also hooked up. Of course, you can see the boilers are flashing. Now, I had a bit of a scare. Now, I knew the animation on this thing didn't work when I got it. When I got it, I literally just got it out of the crawl space, like I said. The rest of the set, the engine, this broken tender, caboose, and the candy dancer, and the post office car, which I don't have hooked up right now. It's in the box still. Had a bit of a scare where the engine animation wasn't working. Well, that had happened to me on this tender a few times. The motor had seized up, so I just sort of jiggled around with the animated parts, and sure enough, it came back to working. And I knew the animation didn't work on the tender when I got it. It had the seller put something in saying the animation didn't work. So, well, I did the same thing, jiggled around with it for about 10 minutes, and the animation started working. So it started right up, and it worked perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do is, the sound is on, so I'm going to turn it off. Things starts flashing. And I'm going to push the start button. And when I do that, the lights, you should see the lights should be in a sort of a sequential pattern. They should be going around like that. And the lights inside of there will turn on, and the lamp post will turn on. The animation will start up. The headlight should turn on. Let's go ahead and push the forward button. And there it goes. Isn't that great? I now have a working Holiday Express train set. Just in time for Christmas. Well, not really. Christmas is, gosh, a while away. Anyway. The Santa Claus is waving. The elf is ringing the bell. The lights in there are working. The boilers are flashing. The elf does have a little bit of a thing. It like sort of pops up before it comes all the way up. But it's kind of cool. It looks like it's actually popping up. Okay, so yeah, that's basically get the idea of it. So now what I've done is I've plugged these two cars in, and we're going to see how it works. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the patterns. I'm going to go over the patterns that it does. So I'll turn it back on. You'll see they all work. Now the first light sequence that the train will go through is it'll go through sort of a wave, and you can see that very well in the candy dancer. See, that's doing sort of a wave. Or fading, cascading motion, I guess. Then it'll do this chasing. You can see on the tender. chasing, and on the caboose, do a chasing downwards. Then it should switch sometime, yep, right there. Then it'll do a pretty interesting function. This is sort of a right back and forth alternate fading sort of thing. These two will first alternate blink, and then these fade, and these three will fade or blink while those two fade. You can see it. This one actually get a better idea of on the tender. See, those two are blinking and that's are fading. Now those are blinking. Now the back ones are fading. Now this is what I call the piano chords. See, it does the 3 in the middle, 2 in the middle, 3 outside, 2 in the middle, 3 outside, 2 in the middle, like that. The caboose is just flashing like that, and those two are doing a sort of a round. Now it'll do a fading function. See, the same two that were doing the alternate fading are now doing fading. And then once it's done this function, it'll go back to the wave. Should soon. There it goes. Okay, see, now it's back to the wave. And the engine boilers don't get affected by this. They're always flashing like that. So I'm going to turn up the lights and we're going to see what it looks like with the lights off. So there's the alternate fading. I've always been a big fan of these sets just because they have the different light patterns. I really like multifunction Christmas lights and everything like that. So yeah. Now the piano chords. Yeah, that's all I'm going to do now. Okay, back on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the train go forward. Let me turn off the sound. There's stars flashing rapidly. And we'll push the forward button. The train isn't running. I'm just going to do the animation. Okay, let's stop it now. And then once you stop it, it goes back to the wave. It starts the function sequence over again. Yeah. And you notice when I made the train, when the train is in motion, it'll just do a simple sequential. The lights will do a simple sequential feature. So here's the old tender. Of course, I'm going to be keeping this, as sort of a decoration. Maybe even putting it on the end of the train, because I mean it's not affecting anything. It'll just look kind of, make it symmetrical. I don't know. I'll think about it. Since it's not, since it doesn't activate anymore, I can't put it in front of the caboose, which I would like to. But yeah, so let's turn it off. And turn it back on, I guess. Of course, the cars have these little buttons here. This one doesn't work right now because I need the plug is still a little bit messed up here, but since I have a better soldering iron, I'm going to take a crack at that this weekend. The caboose has that button there. If you push it and the animation comes on. Of course, you can see that in some of my other videos, I think. the post office car has that too. The tender and the engine don't. So there you go. That is the a new tender for my Holiday Express train set with lights, sounds, animation. Yeah. And I actually really like these older sets with the incandescent lights simply because I like the sounds a little bit better. The whistle, I know for a fact the whistle is a little bit different. The chuffing is not. The chuffing is kind of weird on the new sets. It's kind of like, it's like constant, but on these it just goes, so more like a classic train sound. Anyways, yeah. And the ho 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 is a bit different too. On the new ones he sounds much, actually I like the ho 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 on the new ones better. Because he goes, ho ho ho, Merry Christmas on these, but on those he goes, ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. He sounds much more jolly on the new ones. So, and I did test, the ho 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 is the same on this tender as it was on this tender when it worked. So, that is the new tender for my Holiday Express train set. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.